Hi, guys, and welcome back to Simple Bookkeeping Solutions. This tutorial is one of what I like to call the online bookkeeping trifecta. So, I've already created tutorials on the chart of accounts within QuickBooks Online, as well as transaction coding. And this one is particularly important. We are going to go over how to complete a bank or a credit card reconciliation. So, if you have viewed any of my previous tutorials, you know that I'm a huge fan of QuickBooks Online. It makes the transaction coding very easy to complete and gives us a much easier segue into the reconciliation. So now I'm going to start by navigating over to our reconciliation screen. I'm going to click on the gear icon here in the top right-hand corner. I will be clicking on Reconcile, which is located underneath the Tools column, and our reconciliation screen pops up. So, first step, which account would we like to reconcile? So, if you were with me on my tutorial on the chart of accounts, you know that whatever accounts we have set up within our chart of accounts will appear here. So, whatever titles we've given our accounts, those are the titles that we'll be selecting from. My recommendation was to not just put checking. This one says checking, but this is just our sample QuickBooks company. For your own business, you will want to not just put checking, but rather put the acronym of your bank, a couple letters that stand for your bank name, or the full bank title, along with checking. Or you could just do a shortened CHKG if you're running out of space. And then what I would also include are the last four digits of your account number, especially if you have more than one checking account at the same institution. It will make it really easy for us to tell one from the other. I also recommend the same thing for the savings account as well as the credit card. It's a good little naming tip and best practice. So now, right beneath where our checking account is located on the screen, we see add the following information. So we have here our beginning balance. So this means that this is not our first reconciliation of this bank account, right? The first reconciliation would be starting with a zero beginning balance because you would have opened up your bank account and then you would have added money to your bank account and then had several transactions and ended up with an ending balance, which we would put right here in this box. So for the purposes of this reconciliation of this sample company, I already know that the ending balance, which would be my ending balance on my bank statement, is going to be $1,201. I'm going to tab over to the next box, my ending date. Let's just say this is the last statement of the year in 2020. So 12/31/2020. Now you can also click this little date box if you just like to point and click for the date. I'm going to click on Start Reconciling. And so now it opens up to the screen that may look complicated at first, but it's really not. We're going to break it down so that it's not scary and it's very easy to navigate. So right here at the top, statement ending balance. That's that $1,201 that we manually typed in. That's our ending balance that was reflected on our bank statement. Cleared balance. This means that there is $5,000 that we are starting at on this bank reconciliation. You can see it right here, our beginning balance, $5,000, minus any payment, so any money that has gone out of our bank account, plus any deposits, so money that we've put in. We have a difference right over here, $3,799. Now, at the end of our reconciliation, whether this is a credit card reconciliation or a bank account reconciliation, our difference should be zero. That means that our QuickBooks account is in line with the information that is reflected on our bank statement. So now we can go ahead and start checking off the activity that is on our bank statement. So I'm just going to scroll down here. You see we have these dates right here in the further leftmost column. We have type, bill payment, receive payment, that's money in, expense, check, these are money out transactions, reference number. So our bill payment that we paid was reference number 10. We received a check payment. The check number was 1053. We have some sort of an expense that we've given a reference number of 12. We wrote a check that was number 4. Okay. Our account shows us, again, it's tied to our chart of accounts. Okay. So it's going to be the chart of account title that's already been set up within the chart of accounts and that we've assigned when we were coding the transaction. So the next screen, payee, and it's really great. I like to play around with these columns. If you just click on the heading, it'll sort. Okay, this one sorts in date order. This one will sort by type so that you can get all of your checks together if you want. Click on payee and it's going to sort in alphabetical order. We can also change our view. So right now we have this column here that shows all of the payments, and this column here right next to it shows all of the deposits. Now, if you notice, all is selected here. Now we can change our view and just select deposits or just select payments. That becomes especially helpful if you're working on a very long reconciliation. So that way you can kind of shorten your view of all of the activity and really hone down on any transactions that you may be out of balance with if you are out of balance. So I am going to just click in this radio button all the way to the right of deposit here. That's going to ask me, are you sure you want to select all 32 transactions? In my case, yes, I want to select everything. So now you see that we have a difference of $3,271.35. Now what happened? We shouldn't have a difference, right? We want this difference to be 0. But if you notice, I'm still only on payments here. So let me change that to all. I will reselect the radio button. Now I've got 43 transactions. Yes, select all. Bingo. Okay, now our difference is 0. This is what we want to see after every single checking, savings, or credit card reconciliation. That means that our bank statement, our official document, is in line with the activity that we have within QuickBooks, which is definitely the goal. Now, a couple of helpful hints. We have already looked at the ability to sort. That becomes very, very helpful. We also looked at the ability to sort between payments and deposits, and we want to kind of truncate our view of the activity if we're doing a particularly large reconciliation. We can also click up here on the Edit Info tab. Let's say, we misread our ending balance and we only put $1,200 to begin. So we'd be out of balance by $1. And let's say we went back, because you always want to I typically double check my statement first. If I'm out of balance, if I've selected my activity and I still am not at a 0 difference, I go back and I reread my numbers. Did I put in the correct ending balance? So let's say we didn't initially, and now we want to go ahead and correct that. You just click into the edit, change the end balance here. Let's say we made a mistake on the date. Let's say we're dealing with May, the month of May, and we put ending date May 30th instead of ending date May 31st. We'd have one full day of activity missing. So we could go ahead and make that correction and hit save down here at the bottom. And hopefully that should tie everything together. So just remember, the reconciliations, they may look a little involved at first, but really it's like anything else. Once you get the hang of it, it becomes really, really easy and simple to do. If you are out of balance, then you just need to go through the activity, okay, and see which item you're off by. So let's say I'm going to click on type and I'm going to sort these again. So I have all of my checks in a row. Let's say check number 2 right here that we wrote on 9/23. Let's say this check for $18.08 didn't clear our bank. in December. Maybe it cleared our bank account at the beginning of January. So it's not actually going to be reflected in our bank statement for December. All it takes is a simple unchecking. And then if we were out of balance by that $18.08, we would now have a zero difference by unchecking it and be brought into balance. So remember, just tackle that bank reconciliation, that credit card reconciliation, and it definitely gets easier and easier as you go along. So I hope that you guys have really enjoyed this tutorial on how to perform a bank or credit card reconciliation within QuickBooks Online. Please go ahead and like this video and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of our other helpful tutorials. Okay, bye now.